it's Michelle. I'm back. Sorry, I just noticed all this stuff on my computer. So I'm over here trying to clean it off. Alright, so I wanted to give you guys an update because it has been a few weeks. And every single time I say I'm going to do this video, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And then I get my wife ready, and then all of a sudden something happens and she can't do it or doesn't feel like doing it. So I was like, alright, I'm going to come and do this right now because you guys deserve an update, and I deserve to get my YouTube family back because it's been a few weeks. So I think we last left off with a BFN and my secret cycle. And let me tell you guys what's been happening since then. I've had 2 IUIs since then. I had another IUI following the BFN with, I can't remember if I left off on the first IUI or the second. Okay, let's just say I left off on the first one because that means there really has been 2 since then. So there's been 3 total. So the second IUI, I had another round of Clomid. We did 50 milligrams, however they call it, of Clomid. We did the HCG shot along with that. And again, it was BFN. And so that was probably a little bit of my whole not videoing because I was getting a little discouraged and all this other stuff. And plus it just seemed harder and harder to videotape when you have no good news. But hey, it's part of the process, all part of the journey, right? So, sorry. And I'm drinking a Coke, and so it's making me burp, and I know I shouldn't have it, but it is one of those days, okay? So, IUI number 3. Just had IUI number 3, actually on Thanksgiving Day, ironically enough, right? I was like, well, maybe this will be my Thanksgiving Day present. But this cycle, I did gonal F injections. And I chose to do that because while I was making waves and producing, I produced 2 follicles that second IUI too. And that IUI actually, what happened? So we went in for the IUI. And one of the things that really put me off was our donor's sperm count was very low on the vial that they had unthawed. And so my first instinct was, well, you have 2. Why didn't you just unthaw the 2 if it was below a certain number? And they're like, oh, well, it should be fine. And I'm like, I don't want should be fine. You go through this shit for a whole month. Excuse me. Nobody wants should be fine. We want to know that everything is all at the proper level. So I had them unthaw the second vial, and lo and behold, they both were very low. Not too low that they didn't want to do it. They just seemed low to me. And, for donor sperm, you don't need as much as you would need for fresh sperm at all. But, like, usually a vial, if you don't know, typically comes with, like, a 10 million guarantee, at least depending on the places that you're getting it from. So there are some places that have a 20 million guarantee. Of course, the vial prices just keep going up and up. But there's one place that we deal with only even offers 10 million worth of specimen vials. So, of course, I went back to them and I said, hey, I didn't meet your 10 million guarantee. I got 2 new vials. I also confirmed that donor that we were using had some confirmed pregnancies. Of course, they can't tell you the exact number, but knowing that they had confirmed pregnancies is exactly what I need to hear. Otherwise, we may be wasting our time. That's my dog. So we went through that process, did what we had to do, and BFN. And then this current IUI I was just mentioning, and I feel like I'm jumping around, so I'm really sorry if it's hard to follow. We did the gonal F injections on the 26th. I go in for a pregnancy test on December 10th, which is like 7 days away. And the last 2 IUIs during this cycle, I had tested like crazy. And you get hooked on testing. I wanted to test out the HCG trigger, and then I was like, all right, anything after this is gone should be good. But then you start testing and testing and testing, and it just drags you down. So the interesting thing that did happen while we were going through this whole process, though, is that we hit our deductible with our insurance, which is a really good thing, which means I no longer have to pay out of pocket. And because of that, I said to myself, well, we might as well go ahead and start using the benefits to the fullest. So for those of you who have insurance out there, you know that while you have insurance, it only covers like a certain maximum, and usually sometimes a maximum over the lifetime. So, which means if I stay with my company for the next 10 years, I still have the same amount of fertility benefits for the entire 10 years. It has a lifetime span as long as I'm with this company. So I said to myself, I don't know if we're just going to have one. I don't know if we're going to want to have two. I don't know if we're going to have any more after this one. But I do want to make sure that we still have some money left over at the very least to be able to do this. Again, in the future, if we decide to, right? So we made the decision that if this IUI, this go around, does not work, that we will go ahead and move forward with IVF. And a big piece of that is because the Gonal-F injections cost a pretty penny. I only have so much for fertility medications to use as far as dollars go with my insurance. And I don't know, for those of you who don't know, Gonal-F is expensive. I mean, that lady called me and told me how much that medicine was. I was like, the only reason why we moved to injections also, by the way, is because we hit the deductible. Because I was like, well, we might as well go ahead and up this game since we don't have to pay out of pocket that much anymore. And she called me, that price is a little over $3,000 for medication. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? I was like, those little Clomid pills were like $1.10 a piece. How do you go from $1.10 to $1,000? It made no sense at all. So I was like, you know what? Oh, I'm not paying for this go around. Let's do it. So then the funny thing that happened too, and you guys are gonna laugh when you hear this. So because of how the process and everything worked out, I had to make a quick decision whether or not we were gonna move to Gonal-F injections, and we had to move so fast that I wasn't gonna get my medication in time before my day 3 of my cycle started, which is the day you start the Gonal-F injections. So I called my fertility clinic, and they were like, it's okay, don't worry. We actually carry extras in the office. You can just swing by and pick up one. I was like, okay. I thought they were just going to give me enough for like a day or two to hold me off until my medication came in the mail. No, they gave me enough for the entire cycle, and there's still some left over. I was like, so I just got like a free round of medication. Now that means this next Gonal-F pack that I have can really go towards IVF. I was like, I don't know if you guys meant to do that. You're not charging me for it. I'm not going to say anything. But I feel like I got like a free round of like meds for IVF now. And I'm like, oh, clearly we have to use it for that. We can't just waste it on another IUI. So I'm hoping that, of course, that this is not a BFN. But I am preparing myself for the worst because, well, IVF is definitely the more effective route. I mean, I think our doctor showed us the rates. I have it somewhere. I think it's downstairs, actually. She showed us like the live birth rate or something like that, or the pregnancy rate with IVF per egg that's inseminated per egg that is transferred. And it was like 56% per egg. That's a pretty high number compared to the not even 20% that you get with IUI. And so I said to myself, if I was going to end up going past 3 IUIs, it would only make sense to me to move towards IVF. And that's just because of not only the time, but the money that you're putting into it. It only makes sense for me anyway. I was a little hesitant because I have to tell you, like, IVF is a lot more invasive than I wanted this whole entire process to be. I was sitting in the doctor's office on, I don't know, some day earlier this week. Actually, it was Tuesday. Yeah, it was Tuesday. And today is Thursday. And she's explaining to me IVF because we wanted to go ahead and make sure that we talked about it all, so that as soon as we found out whether or not this was a BFN or a BFP cycle, that we could easily transition over and get everything done. Sorry. So I'm sitting there talking to her. I was getting a little tuned out, I have to tell you, because everything she was telling me, I was like, all these injections, all these pills, all these There's all this paperwork I have to do to go look at some video online and do a test. And I was like, you want me to do a test? I was like, okay, you didn't need me to do a test to do IUI. And when I say test, I mean like go read a book kind of test. Instead of this one is like a go watch a video and then I'll answer these questions to make sure that you've got a full understanding. So I was like, all right, I guess, but one of the reasons why I was so put off with IVF to begin with is just because it's so evasive. They're sticking a needle in there to like, not, first of all, they're putting you on meds to like stop your body from doing what it naturally does. Not that Gonal F and Clomid doesn't do similar things, but there's just a lot more of the process. It's a lot more process in IVF. So I will definitely be able to speak to this once more, or once I get really started in the process. But I do know that I have to go on birth control pills for a few weeks. Um, Following that, it'll be some, whatever testing to make sure that everything is where the levels are where they want them to be. Then I'll start the Gonal F for a few weeks or a few days. Sorry, I'm hearing somewhere between like 8 to 14, depending on how your body responds. And then there's all these other medicines that come into play that they do to get your body ready for taking out the eggs out of your follicles, which also is another evasive thing because they have to put you under anesthesia to do this. I've only been on anesthesia once in my life, and it was for a really minor surgery, and I hated it. It was the worst thing in the world. I felt like, I don't know, I can't even describe it. It's a really hard thing to snap out of, too. But hey, it's what you have to do to get what you want, I guess. Um, so yeah, I will definitely come back through and talk about that process. First of all, I will come back on the December 10th to let you guys know what ends up happening in the cycle, because fingers crossed, we may not even need to do IVF. But in the off chance that we do, I will go through step by step what that process is, because it will all be new to me. IUI, I feel like I know like the back of my hand, but IVF is something, it's a whole other freaking beast. The process takes 2 months as well, by the way. So this will be something completely new. But yeah, so I think that is it for now. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. I feel like it's not so quick because I see the timer and it says 13 minutes. So kudos to you for getting through this video, especially with me jumping around like crazy. I promise I'll get a little bit more organized next time. But yeah, so I want to give a quick shout out to Normal Life Atlanta, Ray and Avery. I know you guys are, I think today's your due date, actually. I was just watching your other video and I saw today was the due date. And I was like, congratulations, baby Ace is on his way. And we are all so excited to see him. And I know you guys can't wait to be mummies. So with that, I will talk to you guys later. And good luck to all of you guys out there on your baby journey. If you're in your 2-week wait, fingers crossed, because that's where I am too. If you're about to start a new cycle, much baby dust to you. And if you just got your BFP, yeah, kudos, kudos, kudos. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye.